Hello, everybody, and welcome to Bath Matt Reviews, where today we are going to be talking about Transformers Earthspark Twitch. And she's fine. I'm I'm not the biggest fan of this figure. Not because it's particularly bad. I just the figure itself is fine. I'm also just not a big fan of the character, to be honest. I From the episodes I watched, for all I know, she could have insanely good character development. But in the couple of episodes I watched, she was just kind of annoying to me anyway. The characters I really liked were Megatron and Optimus Prime. Like any interaction they had was awesome, and just like they're not necessarily awesome, but just kind of goofy and fun. And I liked a lot of the returning characters, but I'm not the biggest fan of the Terran Transformers. At least from the 6 episodes that I saw. Maybe 6 episodes. 4 to 6. I really don't know. And yeah, so the figure is it's good. I'm not saying it's bad. Although it does have kind of a spindly design, which is fine. There are some pretty good Transformers that are very thin, but it leads to kind of a frustrating transformation, in my opinion, where everything is in the right spot and it's just like keeps sliding out of place because just there's so many joints on this figure, and they aren't as firm as I would like them to be for what it is. Oh, also, this is a nitpick. Just ignore this part. I don't really like how the wings being this way, so I always keep them like this, and I will probably be keeping them like that for the rest of this episode. Nah, I'll keep them like this. Nope, I'm keeping them like this. For a second there, I was like, nah, I'll just keep them the way that they're supposed to be, but no, I like them like this more. And, oh yeah, as far as accessories, she comes with this blaster and a part of the Build-A-Figure that I still have not grabbed. And this gun can peg right here on her back. And that actually looks pretty dang natural as far as whatever's back there. And then it can also slot over her hand and be this pretty cool gun. And yeah, so overall, pretty good. Now, getting in close here, you got the body. Dude, you know what I just realized? The body itself reminds me of V2 from Ultra Kill, if you know that game. But the head takes me out of that because I think honestly, as far as the design goes, it's quite good. I like this design except for the head. For a pretty silly reason. So I don't like the head because it looks almost too human looking. And yes, before you comment down below, which you should do by the way, just not about this. I completely understand why. It's not a personal problem with the character, because yeah, of course the Transformer that was like born on Earth is gonna look more human. That makes sense. I just don't like it, so I feel kind of bad. But at the end of the day, that doesn't really matter. I know I've been kind of ragging on her a whole bunch. I'm still very excited to see what ends up happening with her because, yeah, I didn't like her first appearance too much. That I've seen again. Again, if the show gets way better, tell me. I'll stick through the less than stellar episodes that I've seen before and get to the good stuff. But yeah, I'm excited to see what happens with Twitch and Thrash in the future because, yeah, I like seeing how characters evolve, and even if one's not your favorite character in their first appearance, maybe in their I don't know, second or third, it will become a really fun character that you like a lot. Like, I think Ratchet's a great example of this. Like, Ratchet has always been on my pretty fine list. Like, he was never one of my favorite characters. Just, he was fine. Whenever he was there, I was like, cool, that's Ratchet. Neat. But then, Transformers Animated and Prime came out, and those specific versions are way higher than, like, any other version of Ratchet that I can think of. I really like those two versions. So, eventually, probably this will happen. Also, not counting comics there, I haven't read enough of them to say anything. I'm just speaking in general terms. So, I'm excited to see what happens with this character. Just right now, not my favorite. And let's get into articulation, because it's good. It's almost too good, because getting this figure to stand with all of its joints and everything can be kind of a pain. But, okay, so head on a ball joint, and it is incredibly expressive. You got up, way far, down, side to side. You can do a full 360. These are also on ball joints, so you can adjust them and get them into whatever flight pose you think is accurate. Same thing with these parts that are able to do all that. And then arms can do a full 360, and it's, see, that's the other problem with this figure's posability. Some of the joints are really tight, and then others are super loose. Like this can move so easily, even when you don't want it to. Whereas this, you have to put in pretty consistent effort and pressure, almost too much, to get it to bend in the direction that you want it to. And so it just leads the figure's posing to be eh. But anyway, out that far, you have a swivel at the bicep, you have 90 degrees of bend, you have nothing at the wrist, you have a full 360 at the waist, and as I think about it now, that's for no reason. Like, that's just because they added that articulation. It has nothing to do with transformation at all. Then you have forward that far, back that far. As mentioned before, you have a really loose swivel. Then you have out that far. You have slightly over 90 degrees of bend, but basically not nearly enough to say anything over 90 degrees. But technically, I think it is slightly over. And then the foot is on a ball joint, and so you got... It can move too much. That's not the right way of putting it, because I do like having a whole bunch of foot articulation, but when you put it there, ain't no way. If you try and get it to stand in a normal stance, I should say, that happens. And it's just a lot of adjusting and tweaking and everything like that, and till you get it just right. And yeah, and even still, like, both feet aren't on the ground super flat. It's, again, this figure isn't bad. I just have some problems with it. Now, let's get into size comparisons. I almost forgot. So, see what I mean? So, I still had this guy posed from the thumbnail, so let me just straighten him out real quick. Peg in. Here she is with Grimlock, which I don't remember seeing them in the show together, but that's gotta be out of scale. Like, this guy's gotta be bigger. Here she is with the Prime unit of measurement. And here she is with Batman. And yeah, now let's get into transformation. And one of two things is going to happen. Either one, it's going to be a very smooth process without many problems. Or two, I'm going to have to slightly adjust things like 30 times. So, let's get into it. First, come to the back, take these, and peg them in. And then slot that down into that, like that. And then straighten out the head, lift this up, and bring that down. And one thing is, it's supposed to sit like this. It does not. It always wants to slide down a little bit. Now, once you finish transforming it, it will stay that way. But that's just one of the slight tolerance issue problems things that this figure has. So then, adjust the arms like that. And flip out the landing gear, or landing struts, or whatever you'd call it. Then, take this piece, flip that out. And that will lock the arms into place, like so. Then take the legs, flip out this part, straighten out the foot, and collapse it down. Then take and then rotate and peg that in there, and then peg that in there, and then this will peg in right there, and yay, looks like we're getting one of the easier times. So that's very nice. Because when this figure does transform correct, it's a very fun, smooth process. It's just sometimes something gets misaligned, and then you have to micro adjust everything. But again, I don't want to hate this figure. So peg that in, and then adjust that and peg that in. And wow, lucky me, I got the very smooth process. And because of that, the transformation is quite fun. Again, I don't like hating on figures. I don't want to. And when this figure works, it works. And I quite enjoy it. And then you can take this and slot that in. And this will help push that up just a bit more. And there we go. And so, yeah. Now you have Twitch in her drone mode. And yeah, looks good. It's not my favorite, but oh well. It's pretty good. And these can spin and rotate, and I think that's very fun. And that's the only bit of articulation for a drone. Well, I mean, you have the wings to move and whatever. But yeah, so that's about it. Thank you all for watching. Remember to like and subscribe. Comment down below what characters I should review next, and I'll get to them as soon as I can. And follow me on YouTube and TikTok, but mostly YouTube, because TikTok kind of sucks to upload on. And yeah, so bye.